where you always do better with Landmark, and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. I have Christian County State's attorney candidate John McWard in studio running as a Republican. Great to have you here, Mr. McWard.
Hey, thanks for having me today.
So let's inform everybody a little bit why first off, tell me a little bit about your experience. Let's start there.
Experience as an attorney?
As an attorney, or
Absolutely.
What makes you qualified?
Absolutely. I started out at the state's attorney's office in Sangamon County, and as a prosecutor, I handled DUIs and felonies. Then I went to work with my father, and we do criminal defense and family law here in Taylorville. My dad's been practicing here since '83. He grew up here. I'm originally from Rochester, but I live here in Taylorville now. We own a small business, normal people, and we work.
That small business is a law office too, I understand.
That's correct. That and my family farms in the Morrisonville, Palmer area, and in the Awana-Copana area as well.
All right. Well, obviously you are from the area and you are ready to go and run. Tell me again, I guess, why did you decide to run?
Absolutely. My family's been here since the 1800s. I saw an opportunity to make a change. One of the biggest things, coming down to the office with my dad growing up, for the last 30 years, going to the office, just seeing the change in Taylorville, seeing the methamphetamine get exacerbated. It continues to grow, and there hasn't been any prosecutor stopping it. And that's where I wanted to put my foot in the door and say the buck stops here, and make sure that we tackle meth and reduce crime, and then have businesses invest in Christian County.
And this goes a little bit along that same line of questioning, but I guess, why do you want the Christian County State's Attorney's Office, and specifically why challenge the incumbent?
First and foremost, why I want it. I want to make change. If I didn't see an opportunity to make a change and provide what I believe my strengths and talents are, I wouldn't have done it. Working with law enforcement, federal, state, and local, I want to get the job done. I'm challenging the opponent because I don't think he's doing that job. Over the last, I believe it's the last 16 years, we've had Mr. Rivera did a good job. However, meth continues to grow, and Mr. Pokenpole, again, with Mr. Pokenpole's leadership, meth isn't being stopped. I see a opportunity to fill that void and to change that in Christian County. I want to make sure meth is no longer present.
When you knock on someone's door asking for their vote, what's your elevator pitch? What do you tell them in about 60 seconds or less?
It's more of a, hey, how are you today? My name is John McWard. I'm running for Christian County State's Attorney. You get a litany of questions back, and so that kind of develops where and what direction you go in. Democrat or Republican is pretty much the first question you get asked. They ask, who's your dad, or who's your family? That's the second question. But really just talk about issues. What are they seeing in their community? What are they seeing in their neighborhood? A lot of people we see, and when we're walking doors, their next door neighbor's garage got burglarized because somebody who has a substance addiction is stealing something out of their garage for drugs, and just talking about how they don't feel safe anymore. And that's when I talk to them about my objectives and my goals and desire for change in the county.
Well, speaking a little bit about that, how do you view the crime in Christian County right now?
As a public defender for this county, obviously I can't talk about my cases and
right.
specifics. I would say 90% of the crime that's committed is a byproduct of substance dependency. And what I mean by that, burglary. People who are burglarizing homes aren't going out there on a whim and breaking into their garage to steal a chainsaw. They're doing it to sell, to make drugs, or to purchase drugs, pardon me. Now, obviously mental health is of It's important. It's an important focus or topic to focus about. Pardon me. It's an important topic to focus on. However, how can we differentiate between mental health and then what I call meth rot or substance abuse meth rot, and where somebody has taken so many drugs and they're just not right in their mind versus someone who actually has a mental health disorder. And I think those two instances are starting to blend together, and we can't decide, either or.
Mm-hmm. Where do you see the Christian County State's attorney position in, I don't know, 3 to 5 years down the road?
I think that's difficult to say. What I do say is working hand in hand with law enforcement to make sure we get the job done. If elected November 9th, I would hold a meeting with all law enforcement members, chiefs in the county, and provide them with my direction. That's getting meth, tackling drugs. That's number one priority. And having a yearly stepping stone and saying, hey, did I meet my goals this year? That's what I would implement for myself. But again, hopefully in 5 years, we have reduced recidivism of methamphetamine and drugs in our community. And the people who do have these substance abuse problems, they get the help that they need.
What makes you different from your opponent seeking the same office?
I have a stronger work ethic than my opponent. I believe that I don't leave the office at 4:30 or 4:15 every day. I think I am a better trial attorney. I've tried more cases here in Christian County than he has. I know the dynamics. He's from Montgomery County. He's from Raymond. He practiced in Raymond. He's only been practicing in Christian County for 6 months. So I think I have a better pulse on the issues. Furthermore, he's never been a defense attorney. He doesn't know both sides of the game, of the coin. And it brings a specific set of skills, I think, to being a prosecutor that he doesn't have. This is a closed question, so we'll probably get a closed answer. Right. But how long have you been practicing in Christian County? Since 2019. Okay. So 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. Okay. And I've been a public defender here in Christian County for 3 years. Okay. Well, we are running up against a quick timeout. I want to ask you about some of the major issues that you're paying attention to right now. That's the Safety Act. First, though, before we get into that, we don't have enough time to get into it right now. So I just wanted to see if there's anything that you wanted to emphasize or recap about our discussion we just had right now. So do you want to talk about the Safety Act? Or in a moment. We're going to talk about that in a moment. No, just focus on prosecuting methamphetamine here in Christian County. All right. We're going to talk all about the Safety Act here in just a moment. Want to give plenty of time to talk about it. So let's take that time out right now. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark, and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first.
WTIM. Let's check the markets on the RFD Radio Network. I'm DeLoss Yankee. The bank is closed on Columbus Day, but the ag markets are open. December corn up 8 3/4, 692. March up 8, 699, and July up 5 3/4, 692 3/4. November soybeans up 17 3/4, 1384 3/4. January up 16 3/4, 1396. July up 12 3/4, 1415. December soybean meal up 170, 402.40. Soy oil for December up 48, 67.08. And Chicago wheat for December up 39, 919 1/4. Kansas City December up 36 1/4, $10.05. December oats up 9 3/4, 388 3/4. This is the RFD Radio Network.
Your tough jobs, the really big ones, deserve a hard-working John Deere tractor from Sloan Implement. Right now, get 0% for 5 years and $1,000 off on a 5E Series tractor. No matter the size of your work, the John Deere 5E is the perfect fit. And when you take a seat on your tractor, your land stands to benefit. 0% for 60 months. Some restrictions apply. See Sloan Implement for details. Offer ends 10/29/22.
Power up with Sloan.
Hi, this is Will Perkins with Taylorville Community Credit Union. When you become a member of TCCU, you become an owner and have access to our great loan rates, earn great dividends on our deposit accounts, have access to our full range of financial products, and will receive personal attention from people you know. Membership is open to anyone who lives or works in Christian, Montgomery, and Shelby County. We are conveniently located in Taylorville, Hillsborough, Litchfield, and Pana. You can also visit us online at www.tccu.org. Come join us. You'll wonder why you waited. Member NCUA.
You work hard to make sure your family has everything they need. Life insurance from American Family Life Insurance Company can help financially protect your loved ones by replacing a portion of your income if you were to pass away. That means your family will have the help they need to maintain their quality of life and pursue their dreams. Get the peace of mind you deserve by protecting what matters most.
Contact me, Daniel Rizzo, agent at Daniel Rizzo Agency, Inc. at 823 West Spresser Street, Suite 1 in Taylorville, or call 217-562-4433 today.
American Family Life Insurance Company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Did you eat too much food Chili Fest weekend? Work it off at the Christian County YMCA by taking advantage of their Taylorville Chili Fest membership special going on now through October 7th. Sign up today and your October membership dues will be just $10, the price of a quart of chili at Taylorville's Chili Fest. No activation fee. For more information, visit the membership service representative at the YMCA. The Y, for youth development, for healthy living, for social responsibility.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back to the WTIM Morning Show. I'm Avery Cooper. Your stream on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com's Facebook and WTIM TV YouTube, brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark, and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. I have Christian County State's Attorney candidate John McWard. He's a Republican here in studio right now. And one of the big issues of the day that you're paying attention to this election cycle, Mr. McWard, the SAFE-T Act. Briefly here, before we get into it, I want to preface this conversation with that it could change in a matter of moments, what we're talking about here now. But as you're understanding, if you would, kind of provide a little bit of a brief overview of the SAFE-T Act and what your thoughts are.
And to your point that it could change here briefly, when session, that being the legislative session, comes back into session, they may have bits and pieces that they add or subtract.
And that's coming up like next
week, I believe they reconvene. Right. Safety Act is bad for Christian County. It is something I strongly oppose. First and foremost, there's two different aspects to it. They have delineated some specific crimes that if you are or have found to be committed these crimes, you will be provided a traffic ticket to show up. For example, I could go to your house. I could sit on your porch. You could call the police. You could say, "Hey, will you please leave?" Police say, "Hey, will you please leave?" You can't do anything about it. I could sit there and squat on your front porch, and there's nothing you nor the police can do about it. It's a non-arrestable offense. They say, "Have a good day. Here's your court date."
They provide him the court date, and then the trespasser, we'll call him, is expected to show up and then provided a warrant if they don't, pretty much. But in that time, who knows how long it could take.
Correct. And for specific example, methamphetamine, you could go out, somebody could go out and be caught with a user amount, a gram of meth, 18 times in a month before their first court date. They have 18 counts, and they're just provided a traffic ticket to show up to court. It's a terrible idea. It came out of Chicago. I would, if elected, I would join with the other, I believe at this point in time, there's 4 state's attorneys in the state of Illinois. I would join that lawsuit. It's terrible. We are not Cook County. Cook County does not define Christian County. Cook County does not define any other county in the state. We've already seen it terrible in practice. The New York City mayor was attacked. Somebody tried to murder that person. And the New York City mayor was the one who said, "Hey, this is a great thing." He was livid that the person that tried to kill him was out the next day. And this is what we're going to see with this Crime Reform Act here in Christian County and across the state of Illinois.
Well, there's a lot of concern right now. People are going to get arrested and then just released right away, as you mentioned. And even so, a lot of people who are currently in jail that will just be released.
Correct.
I I don't really have a question. I guess your thoughts.
Yeah. So looking over the inmate list, and I reviewed this a couple weeks ago. There's approximately 60, and probably today it's probably 65 inmates in the Christian County Jail. 37 of those will be released day one. I saw a ad last night that I believe JB Pritzker was attacking Darren Bailey. It was a lot of misinformation being spread that says convicted criminals will remain in jail. That's true because they're convicted. There are 37 Christian County inmates that will be released January 1st because of this bill, and there's nothing we can do about it. It's because of the bad law that's going into effect.
Obviously, you can't do this, but if you could wave a magic wand outside of outright just appealing it,
right,
or repealing would be the correct term, what could you do if you could just wave a magic wand and
Absolutely.
make it better?
And I've given some thought to this. Class A misdemeanors, Class B misdemeanors, Class C misdemeanors. Those are in the criminal world. Those are not felonies. Those are not the offenses that you can be sentenced to the Department of Corrections on. Those are the kinds of, and it's case by case basis, right? Those are the kinds of cases that I think cash bail doesn't make sense. Specifically, driving on suspended. You get an insurance ticket, you forget to pay your SR22 insurance, your license gets suspended. I get it. You can't pay the $75 to get out of jail. Your car's impounded. It's gonna be $750 to get that car out. Those are the kinds of cases where I say, okay, yeah, let's consider releasing you. But when you commit a felony, why would we ever want to release somebody out of custody? Why would we want to allow somebody to go back to the street, to go back to that same drug house that they were caught at and then recommit or reoffend? Class A misdemeanors, Class B misdemeanors. C, I would consider this no cash bond, but for felonies, we got to have some kind of pressure on these individuals to not go out and recommit.
And I think a word maybe to describe what you're looking for, accountability, to keep them accountable while that process goes on. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, accountability, but also, if somebody gets away with something, little kids, they get away with something, they're going to do it again. Accountability, making sure that they are just not getting a slap on the wrist, and that's what's going to happen. And it takes the power away from our law enforcement, our men and women in law enforcement, and it gives it to the criminals. Essentially, I was talking to a deputy, Christian County deputy, during a ride along I had with them, and I said, "You guys are in a tough spot. You guys are pushed against the wall, literally and figuratively. Their hands are tied behind their back because their police duties are being suppressed. And what a lot of people don't understand is this: we have the Safety Act, but we also have the Crime Reform Act, which is a whole separate piece of legislation about police regulation. And so that's affecting our men and women in law enforcement here in Christian County too.
We don't have enough time, I don't think, to get into the Crime Reform Act in its entirety, but maybe if you could provide a synopsis of it, how would you summarize it?
Are you talking about the Crime Reform Act
Yeah.
in general? I'm just going to say one word. It is absolutely horrendous. Just terrible. It's not even good in theory. It's just terrible in theory and terrible in practice. And you being the constituents, you being the citizens of Christian County, are going to sit there and want to bang your head against a wall because of this senseless piece of legislation that got passed.
What would you say is the one thing right now that is at the front of that Crime Reform Act that bothers you the most?
We put criminals first, and didn't care about the citizens, across the state of Illinois, of course. But, for here, we didn't think about the citizens of Christian County. And I think there's going to be things that happen that, if I think people are going to start taking things in their own hands. Because it's going to suppress, like I said earlier, the men and women in law enforcement and their ability to do their job.
Mr. McWard, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me today.
It's Christian County State's Attorney John McWard here on the WTIM Morning Show.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville, 96.1 W241 CF.